What if I told you that you did not stumble upon this video by chance? That something ancient has summoned your attention because the time is right. In the world of sages, mystics, and adepts, there is a whispered truth. When the student is ready, the teaching appears. But what they don't tell you is that the teaching chooses the student too. Thousands of years ago, in the stillness of Himalayan caves, on the golden sands of Egypt, and beneath the shadowed domes of forgotten temples, wise men and women guarded a sacred knowing, a compass of the soul. It wasn't written in stone or ink, but in the silence between thoughts, in the still awareness beneath all things. This knowledge was not meant for the masses. It was never preached, only passed, silently, subtly, to those whose inner eyes had begun to open, to seekers, to wanderers, to you. If these words have found you, it is not a coincidence. There is a shift unfolding, an invisible unraveling of your former self. And what lies ahead is a doorway into yourself, into ancient memory, and into power you forgot you had. In this video, we will explore a secret teaching known to the great sages, one that has the power to completely shift your reality. We'll uncover why this wisdom was kept hidden. We'll trace its roots across the ancient traditions. We'll decode its meaning and show you how to use it in your own life. And most importantly, we'll learn why it found you now. Because once this truth enters your awareness, your life will no longer be the same. Something is awakening. Let us begin. Throughout history, the greatest wisdom has always traveled in whispers. It was never shouted from rooftops or inscribed on temple walls for all to see. Instead, it moved through sacred lineages, passed from teacher to student, master to disciple, through the veil of silence and trust. This was the way of the ancient sages, the keepers of the inner fire. In the forests of India, the rishis would sit beneath banyan trees, their minds still, their gaze fixed not on the world, but within. They spoke of Atman, the true self, beyond thought and form. In Egypt, high priests walked labyrinthine halls carved with hieroglyphs, not merely for decoration, but to encode cosmic truths. They taught that all of reality was a mirror, and to master it, one must master the self. The Hermetic teachings of Thoth declared, as above, so below, as within, so without. In Greece, Pythagoras founded mystery schools where mathematics, music, and metaphysics intertwined to reveal the harmonic order of the cosmos. Students were not admitted lightly. They observed years of silence before receiving even a fragment of the truth. Why? Because truth in unprepared hands becomes distortion. Across the world, in Tibetan monasteries, Mayan temples, and among the Gnostics of early Christianity, this pattern repeats. The inner teachings were guarded, not out of selfishness, but reverence. Not all soil is ready to receive the seed. And what was the secret? At its core, it was the understanding that reality is shaped from within. The sages did not see you as a mere body, wandering a chaotic world. They saw you as a creator, a spark of divine intelligence, capable of shaping the very fabric of existence through your awareness. But to do so, you must first awaken from the dream of separation, from the illusion that you are powerless, or random, or alone. They knew that if even a handful of people could awaken to this truth, the ripple would touch all of humanity. But awakening must be earned. You cannot be handed the key, you must recognize it when it appears. And now, in an age of noise and distraction, this ancient seed is surfacing once again. Not to the crowds, not to the seekers of entertainment, but to the few who can feel it stirring, right now, in the stillness between these words. If you are still listening, then you may be one of them. We will begin to unlock this sacred knowledge. We will explore what the sages actually discovered, how the nature of reality responds to consciousness, and how you can begin using this principle to alter the course of your life. The hidden blueprint of reality. Imagine for a moment that your life is not a sequence of random events, but a mirror reflecting your innermost beliefs, emotions, and frequencies. This was not a metaphor to the ancients, it was a law, a principle as exact as gravity, yet invisible to most. The sages understood that the universe is not just matter, it is mind, a sea of consciousness, shaped by thought, directed by intent, and molded by emotion. And you? You are not a passive participant. You are a sculptor of that field. This is the great secret, guarded across centuries, hidden in plain sight. Your inner world shapes your outer world. The Vedic seers called it Maya, the illusion of separateness. They taught that behind the veil of form lies a field of pure potential, and it is your awareness that collapses this field into experience. Quantum physicists now echo this in their own terms, suggesting that observation affects reality, that particles behave differently when watched. What the ancients knew intuitively, science is only now beginning to glimpse. But how does this apply to you? Let us return to the mirror. If your thoughts are saturated with fear, scarcity, or unworthiness, then life reflects that frequency, offering challenges, obstacles, or a persistent sense of lack. Not as punishment, but as feedback. The world is showing you what you're broadcasting. Change the signal, and the mirror must change its reflection. This is why sages emphasized inner purification. Meditation was not simply a tool for peace. It was a method for tuning consciousness. Mantras were not superstition. They were vibrational codes that reshaped the subtle field. Fasting, silence, prayer, and sacred rituals. All were technologies for aligning the inner being with higher laws. But there's more. These traditions also taught that reality is layered, multidimensional. What you see is only a fraction of what exists. There are inner realms, subtle energies, hidden laws of cause and effect. In Sanskrit, this is karma. In Hermeticism, it's the principle of cause and effect. The idea is the same. What you do, think, or feel becomes a seed, and every seed bears fruit in time. But here's the twist most miss. You're not here to escape the illusion. You're here to master it. This is what initiates in mystery schools were trained to do, not to reject life, but to consciously shape it. To hold a vision so clearly, so consistently, and so deeply that reality bends to meet it. Not through force, but through harmony. Next, we will journey deeper into this mystery. We will uncover the hidden architecture behind manifestation, the role of emotion as fuel, the dangers of unconscious creation, and the ancient symbols that served as maps for this inner technology. The mechanics of manifestation and the sacred inner altar. In the chambers of ancient temples, hidden beneath stone and symbol, priests and sages taught the secrets of shaping reality. They spoke of the sacred inner altar, not of stone or gold, but of thought, emotion, and intention. This altar exists within you, and upon it, your desires are offered, not with mere hope, but with precise awareness, as if commanding the winds themselves. But the great error of the modern world is this. We try to manifest with the mind alone, forgetting that the true engine is the heart. You see, thought is the blueprint, but emotion is the current that powers it. You can visualize wealth, love, or healing, but if your body pulses with doubt, fear, or guilt, then those signals distort the field. The sages knew this well. That's why they taught control of breath, not just for calm, but to still the inner storm. They guided initiates through rituals, not for tradition's sake, but to evoke feeling, a resonant alignment between inner and outer worlds. These rituals weren't performances, they were science, coded in metaphor. Every sound, symbol, and movement was a lever in the invisible world. Now consider this. Have you ever had a moment where time seemed to pause, when everything aligned, and reality bent just enough to show you its malleability? A chance meeting, a whispered intuition, a sudden knowing? That was not luck. That was coherence. When thought, emotion, and will are unified, you enter what the ancients called the current, the Tao, the flow, the sacred stream. In this state, intention moves quickly through the unseen planes, like a message carried on divine winds. That's why great sages warned, be careful what you think when in this state, for the veil is thin and reality listens. This is also why spiritual initiates trained for years, purifying thoughts, releasing attachments, dissolving ego, so that when they entered the sacred space of creation, they did so with clarity and humility. Without this preparation, power corrupts, desire distorts, and the mirror becomes a maze. So how does this knowledge change your life? When you align thought with truth, emotion with love, and intention with service, not manipulation, you awaken what some traditions call the logos, or divine word within. And from there, you no longer manifest from ego or lack, but from a place of harmony with universal law. The Kabbalists called it ascending the tree. The Buddhists referred to it as right intention. In both paths, the goal was not control, but co-creation. You are not here to bend the world to your will. You are here to remember that your will, when purified, is a reflection of the divine will. And that is when the secret truly activates. Not before. Now, we will explore exactly how you can begin aligning yourself with these sacred principles. We will break down ancient techniques into simple steps you can practice today, steps that may, if done with sincerity, begin to open doors you didn't even know existed. Unlocking the sacred within. Techniques to activate the secret. Now that you've glimpsed the mystery, let's turn inward. Because all esoteric knowledge, no matter how ancient, no matter how cloaked in symbols, ultimately points back to this. You are the temple. You are the altar. You are the seeker and the seer. But how do you begin to embody that truth? Let's explore 3 core practices distilled from the teachings of sages across time that can help you activate this secret, not in theory, but in lived experience. 1. The ritual of morning alignment. Every dawn is a sacred gate. What you do in the first 10 minutes of your waking state sets the tone for your entire energetic field. The sages would rise before the sun, in stillness, to commune with the divine. You can begin with this. Sit in silence. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe in deeply through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Repeat this cycle 7 times. As you do, say inwardly, I remember who I am. I remember why I came. Then, visualize golden light entering the top of your head and filling your body. This is not just imagination, it is direction. You are programming your field. 2. The alignment journal. This is not ordinary journaling. It's a sacred dialogue between your higher self and your conscious mind. Each night, answer these 3 questions. Where did I act from love today? Where did I act from fear or habit? What intention shall I plant in the soil of my spirit tomorrow? Over time, these reflections tune your frequency to the current of divine wisdom. Patterns will emerge. Inner clarity will grow. And the subconscious, once a tangle of noise, becomes a clean mirror. 3. The sigil of will. Ancient mystics would inscribe symbols to anchor intention in the material world. You can do the same. Write down a powerful intention in the present tense, like, I walk boldly in my purpose. Remove all the vowels and repeat letters until you're left with a cluster of unique consonants. Artistically combine these letters into a symbol, your personal sigil. Meditate on this symbol daily. See it glowing with energy. Over time, it becomes more than art. It becomes a psychic signature, vibrating with your focused will. Bonus practice, the sacred pause. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, reactive, or anxious, pause. Touch your heart. Breathe. The ancient Egyptian priests believed that the breath was a divine messenger. One conscious breath can break the chain of unconscious action. In that breath, you are free, overcoming resistance. Understand this. As you begin these practices, your old identity will resist. That is normal. The ego fears change because it thrives on control. But you are not your fear. You are the awareness watching it. You may forget some days. That's okay. The key is to return. Return to the breath. Return to the heart. Return to the altar within. With consistency, these simple practices open inner doors. Synchronicities increase. Clarity sharpens. And what once seemed out there reveals itself to be in here, waiting to be remembered. Because remember, the secret doesn't work because it's magic. It works because you are. The moment the mirror speaks back, there's a quiet moment on the spiritual path, a moment not marked by fireworks or grand visions, but by something far more profound. It's when the mirror stops showing you just your reflection and begins to speak back. That voice, it's not external. It's the echo of the eternal, resonating from within. And once you've heard it, truly heard it, you can never go back to sleep. What you've uncovered in this video is not just a philosophy, a technique, or an idea. It is a doorway, and you didn't find it by accident. No secret ever reveals itself to someone who isn't ready to receive it. The sages whispered this truth not because they wished to keep it hidden, but because they knew the power it carried. Power, when given too soon, becomes chaos. But now, you've been entrusted with it. And that changes everything. This is your invitation to live differently, to walk consciously, to align your outer world with your inner knowing. Not perfectly, not all at once, but with presence, with reverence, with courage. You are the candle and the flame, the question and the answer, the map and the destination. So ask yourself now, what will you do with this secret that has found you? Because life doesn't just happen after this point, it unfolds, as if the universe has been waiting for you to remember. If this message stirred something within you, don't let it fade. Reflect, practice, share. And if you're ready to explore deeper layers of ancient wisdom and practical awakening, subscribe and join our growing community of seekers. Until next time, walk gently because you walk in power.